All
Right.
right. So, hello everybody. I'm here with Eve Attat, who's one of my mentees and coaching students. And Eve has had a quite a long journey now, quite a good journey, and she's just got some great news which she's going to tell us about. So, good evening, Eve. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Neil. Thanks for having me at short notice as well. But yeah,
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's good to hear from you. So
yeah,
you went off to the valleys in Wales with me, and we did some training up there, and
yeah.
you found a property. So do you want to
Actually, I
tell us?
found three. Remember, I found
That's right.
three.
We got three properties, didn't we, during the training? Yeah,
Yeah,
well done. Yeah, yeah. And we had lots of fun and games with something in Wales called knotweed.
yeah,
Um, but you became a very experienced in the knotweed world after that, and knew everything about knotweed. But tell
yeah,
me, you've
yeah.
just had a valuation on a property. So tell me about the property that you've just got the information on. So I think tell me what you bought it for, what you've spent on it, how much you've just had it valued at, and a little bit about the rents, and then you can tell me about the challenges you had along the way.
So basically, it's a three-bed mid-terraced. So it's a normal three-bed mid-terrace, but of course, like you rightly mentioned, the almighty Japanese knotweed was there, and that was the beginning of the journey. So three-bed mid-terraced. I got it for 38 at the time. And I got it through a sourcing agent
Okay.
at that time. However, when I got it for 38, the Japanese knotweed had not been considered. It hadn't been factored in at that time. So I had to go back and renegotiate the purchase price to £32,000.
Ooh, well done. Well done.
So yeah, I was able to knock off £6,000. And of course, the refurb estimated at the time of getting from the sourcing agent, it ended up, it would have to cost more. So all that in combo with the Japanese knotweed, I went back and renegotiated a further £6,000 out of it. So yeah, purchase price for that property was 32,000.
Fabulous. Fabulous.
At the time I got the property, I think the rent in the area was around 450, 475.
Okay.
So those were how I worked the numbers. At that time as well, done up value was going around 80 to 85.
Okay. All right.
This is September 2018 when I went for my mentorship, and I got this property from the sourcing agent. So this was my first day of mentorship. Met the sourcing agent as we were going and got the property. So that was brilliant. That was my first property, straight on board, and that was it.
Fabulous. Fabulous.
The journey continued. So yeah.
So what did it cost you to put it right? So obviously it was a bit of a wreck, this property. I mean, it's unlikely you're going to pick something up for 32,000 that's going to be a palace. So you must have spent quite a bit on it. Do you know how much you all in, rather than individually what this cost, what that cost, but all together, what do you think you spent on the property?
Refurb was around 25 grand.
25.
And then the Japanese knotweed treatment itself, another 4 grand, 4 grand on top of that.
Okay, all right.
So again, so like you said, rightly said, it was a write-off. It wasn't habitable at all. But yeah, so that's why it cost that much to do all of that, the refurb and so on. And of course, you think about the buying costs, think about all the solicitors and everything in addition to that. So yeah, all in would come to about 65, 70 in total.
Okay, so
at that time.
You spent 65, 70, and the average price that you were being told that the property would be worth when it's all done up in a nice condition would have been about 80 to 85. So there's a little bit of equity in there, so that's not a bad deal. And you were getting quoted rents of about 450 to 475.
At that time, yes, I was getting rent quoted about 450.
What did you actually get it rented out for?
At the minute, is renting out for 550.
So you got 550. So you smashed all these targets of £100 more than everyone was telling you would get. Which
£100 more, yeah.
And I believe you've just had it revalued. Is that right?
I've just had it revalued because I'm going through a refinance process. So yeah, I just got the valuation yesterday, and the good news now is my property is now worth £105,000.
£105,000. Look at a smile on your face. £105,000.
A 30 grand difference, or 35 grand difference from 80 to 85 I was envisaging. Now it's 105.
30 to £35,000 equity, smashing all the possible rental incomes as well.
Yeah.
Wow, 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 wow. So you must have had, you must be feeling absolutely brilliant. We can see you smiling. Your smile is as wide as the screen at the moment. It's brilliant to see. And it's moments like this that really make it for me. When you phone me up quickly to say, I think it was last night, you just said,
Yeah.
Neil, guess what? And I just thought, well, let's have a proper chat about it when we've got some time. You must have had challenges along the way. And how did you get through those challenges? And give us a little idea.
Where my good stuff from? Yeah, Japanese knotweed was number one. First of all, getting the right specialist to look at it.
Yeah.
I got someone, just to look at it, sent me a report, but the banks would not accept that at all. Mm. So I had to get the lender's recommended specialist to look at it. So that's how that journey started. He was really a good guy. He's still treating it up until this month, because we've got a 5-year treatment plan in place with a 10-year insurance-backed guarantee on the property. So I went through that process. So that was the first one. Never heard of Japanese knotweed. First time hearing about it. And of course, I had a great mentor, which we'll come to later. So yes, so went through that. What was the next challenge? The property wasn't registered with Land Registry when I bought it.
Oh, okay. Wow.
It had no records in Land Registry at all. So even when I'd exchanged and completed, I had to wait a couple of weeks, not just a couple, about 6 to 8 weeks, to get that the Land Registry document actually, sorted with Land Registry. And on the back of that, I did apply to the council for a loan to refurbish the property, but the banks, the council wouldn't give me the loan until they saw the Land Registry documents. So that was a delay.
So the council were going to lend you some money to help you do it up, but they wouldn't lend it to you till you prove that it was yours.
Mine. But that was another journey. Went through all of that. What else was that? Yeah, and then refurbishment started, and then we went through that. That took a while, because my refurbishment schedule, it dropped a bit, because I was still waiting on Land Registry. I was still waiting on the funds from the council and trying to pull all that together. So the builder, he had other things going on as well. So my one started a bit later. Took a while. We finished that, and then finally rented it out in January this year. So it went on rent, and the tenant actually moved in. So that's where the good news starts. My tenant moved in a day early. She was very keen. She loved the property because of the work that was done, because it was now a brand new property, as you can imagine, for her. Also, the good thing was her dad just lives up the street, on the same street. So she was very keen. She has a daughter. So she moved in a day early. So potentially she moved in on the 3rd of January this year.
Fabulous. Wow.
It was a long journey. And yeah, that's how it's been. I got maximum rent for it now, which is great. And that's it, really. Apart from that, all other challenges were things that, that may have taken longer than usual, but we got there in the end. The valuation was one as well. That took a very long time. If I should start with that. My property was valued early July.
Okay.
I only got a confirmation yesterday.
So that's nearly 4 weeks.
It was yesterday, Monday, would have been the 4th week exactly that it was valued, because it went through valuation. The valuer would not put in fact, they would not put a value to it, because they felt it was not a good security for lending.
Oh, okay, all right.
Because of the Japanese knotweed, so we had to. So we went back and forth on that, because the lenders were willing to lend, but the valuer, they were just waiting on the valuer to just put a number to it. And eventually we went back and forth. They asked for this, asked for that, the insurance-backed guarantees, the signed copy of this and that. The good thing is I had everything in one place, all ready to go. So as they wanted, I just kept providing. And then yesterday, I got my mortgage offer.
Oi, well done. And of course, all the way along, you had lots of challenges, and you had questions, and you must have felt like pulling out and thinking, God, it's never going to happen. All these kind of things. How did you keep going?
I never thought. I think for me, property's always been something I wanted to do long term.
Yeah.
So it was never a case of I wanted to pull out because I was sure this is what I wanted to do. However, all I did was take this property as my learning, because everything's happened on this property. Delays with solicitor, no record on land registry, Japanese knotweed, delays with this, everything happened on one property. Where you think you'd learn, from different properties, my one has been this one. So that's why it's taking this long. So for me was, look, this valuation is going to come out. I'm coming out of this. I'm just going to do it. And that was it. And I think what kept me going is the fact that I didn't really need to look for everything that was asked for from lender or broker or solicitor. I had it all in hand. So I wasn't really pulling my hairs out to get this or get that. I knew where to go. I knew who to ask. I had it, and then I just provided. So I think the broker would be very impressed with me because I had everything together, my refinance back. And at the same time, when the lender went to value the property, I couldn't go because obviously we had the lockdown early July.
Of course, yeah.
So I couldn't even give in my refinance back.
Oh gosh.
I had it already. I knew, well, I was told the valuation had been instructed, but as to a certain date, I was still waiting. And that morning was when I got a call from the broker that I had been booked for that day. So there was nothing I could do. I emailed the refinance pack over, but whether the valuer saw it or not, until this day, I do not know.
You're unsure.
So I really couldn't stand at the door to welcome him into the property as we were taught. But anyway, there we are.
But you were well prepared. You got there. You got there in the end. I mean, you've done amazingly well. I know I've been talking to you regularly up to this point, and we've been having conversations every so often. And one of the things, I do say to you is, let's keep in touch, keep it going, because motivation can be a challenge. But I'm so pleased for you. I'm really, really pleased.
I remember your last message as well, Neil. You were like, well done on this small progress. Just keep it going. Just keep it going. And that's one thing that kept me going. So when I get those messages, I'm like, okay, I must be doing something right. So I'm just going to go through this and learn from it. So anybody who has any questions now, just ask me, how did you do this? Well, this was my journey.
Absolutely. We'll invite people along to chat to you, and we'll put some information there so they can, if you're happy, I'll put an email address or something up for you, and they can get in touch with you direct or something.
I would always say it, from my perspective on what I went through, and everyone's different. Everyone's had different, experiences, but my one, I think I've touched on everything that you can think of. So my next ones are going to just go,
it's going to be a breeze, aren't they? I won't need to talk to you so often. I won't need to support you as much, but it will be.
No, I don't think so. Don't worry. I'll still be in touch. I'm not letting you go so easily. Don't worry.
Oh, brilliant. And you found, so I think, you're a testament to people that just, one of the things people think is this property business is easy, but you just kept going. You kept going. And like you said, you kept getting in touch with me when you needed the support. Or you needed that just to talk to me about things, and just being able to just have that person to keep talking to, and me just saying, you are on the right track, don't worry, you are getting there. And look at this, £30,000 profit if you sold it, or £30,000 equity in a deal on your first deal. My God, you've done amazingly well. Look at, I love that smile. When you've got that smile on your face, it just says it all.
That's a relief. I was in shock yesterday. You didn't see me yesterday. I was in shock. I was like, I've never had an email from my lender. Why are they emailing me? It was accept your offer. I was like, offer, really? But yeah. It's been amazing, and I've had I would say, a strong power team as well is really key. That's something that has really, really worked for me. The broker was amazing. He was amazing. He did so well, because in the 3-4 weeks that we were waiting for evaluation, he got on top of it. He was on top of it. I can guarantee, very, very, ever so often, back and forth with top level management on the lending side. And so eventually he got that over the line. He gave me a call yesterday, and we had a good chat eventually. So I mean, the power team, like I said, letting agents, builder, everyone's been on board. And I think it's really important that you communicate, that you keep everyone informed. No news is good enough, but at least let them know there's nothing, if you know what I mean.
Oh, brilliant. Great point. Great point. Yeah. So you're constantly letting them know you're doing something, even though because
Yes.
they haven't heard from you for a while and thinking, is this
Yes.
what's happening? Brilliant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That communication, fabulous. You've
Yeah.
obviously done a very good job of it. Well done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So Eve, thank you again for coming on and telling us all about it.
Yeah.
I will put some information up there for people to contact you if they want some help. And I know you're also now helping other people find deals as well in the area. So should they need any help around there and they want some support, you've got the power team, you've got the knowledge, you've got the experience, you know everything that can go wrong, you know everything that you can deal with. So people would have absolutely no worries coming to you for support and helping you get through that.
I'm always there. And I would want to add that, look, I couldn't have done this without a great mentor. I mentioned this before and I said I was going to come back to it. I couldn't have done this without an amazing mentor. And of course, Neil is my mentor, still is. I met Neil at the social housing course. As you know, I met you social housing. We had the course with yourself and Heather, and it was there. And then I decided, with the way you coached and everything, I decided, no, I was going to go, Neil was going to be my mentor. That was it. I wasn't changing that. And the mentorship, the 3 days down at in the investment area was amazing. As we said, there were 3 deals that day. I mean, the 3-day period, there were 3 deals. 2 fell through, but this one now.
There. Well done.
Yes,
thank you very much.
There.
You know, when someone like you says thank you, that's all it is, and that smile on your face, that's what makes it all worthwhile. All those challenges we've had along the line, and it's really, really my pleasure to be part of your journey.
Thank you so much. Deeply appreciated. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, Eve, and thanks a lot.
All right then.
All the best. Take care now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.